Today I am going to read main reason for corruption in the construction industry. Construction frauds. Frauds can be considered to be deceit or trickery, sharp practice or breach of confidence, repatriation for profit or gain, some unfair or dishonest advantage. The broad legal definition can be: there must be deliberate misinterpretation of the product condition and actual monetary damage must occur. All these are applicable in some form or another in construction frauds. Construction is not immune to frauds like any other industry. Construction too is affected by frauds. Frauds occur at various stages, such as workers, main contractor, subcontractor, client, staff, etc. The ultimate effect, which is an unnecessary loss, is felt by the employer. Type of contract frauds. First one, bid rigging. The pre-qualified contractors raises the prices of intended project. The employer who has solicited competitive bids in order to procure a project at the lowest possible price. Essentially, competitors agree in advance who will submit the winning bid on a contract that is being led through a competitive bidding process. So on paper, everything looks all right, meeting both the requirements of transparency and fairness. Bid rigging includes colluding for bid suppression, agreeing among bidders to withdraw or suppress bidding, complementary bidding, courtesy bidding purposely high, bid rotation, bidders take turns being the lowest, and subcontracting. A lower bidder will agree to withdraw his bid in favor of the next low bidder in exchange for lucrative subcontract that divides between them and the illegally obtained higher price. Frauds are of various types. Removing material, tools, equipment, etc. are considered to be non-technical frauds, while manipulation with pre-qualification, drawings, payments, and other unethical work can be termed as technical frauds. Price fixing. In this case, competitors agree to raise the price or fix otherwise maintain the price at which their goods or services are sold. It is not necessarily that competitors agree to charge exactly the same price, or that every competitor is given industry to join in the transparency. Price fixing includes action that establish or adhere to price discount, hold price firm, eliminate or reduce discounts, adapt a standard formula which does not favor the client for competing prices, maintain certain price differential between different types, sizes or quantities of product, adhere to the minimum price or fee for a price schedule, fixed payment terms. Product substitution. It involves introduction of equipment or materials from other sources that may also satisfy the specification. There is a wide price variation for the equipment and materials produced by different countries meeting the same engineering specification. The contract specifically calls from one particular country, whereas the contractor provides the same from the different country, thus making an unjust profit. Bribery. Bribery is said to take place when a person or company directly or indirectly gives or offers a promise of anything of value, or any public official or person who has authority to return for some monetary gains. Bribery involves influencing authorizing any official or person with authority to commit or aid in committing colluding or allowing any fraud, creating an opportunity for the commission of any fraud, or inducing a public official to do, omit, or to do any act in violation of the lawful duty of such official person. Kickbacks. A kickback is the money paid for the referral of a business for a contract without the knowledge of a customer and without the customer's best interest in mind. Conflict of interest. A conflict of interest takes place when an employee in a decision-making position has a direct or indirect interest, particularly a substantial financial interest that influences the individual's ability to perform his job and responsibilities. A situation where an official's private interest may benefit from his or her public action. Very high content of provisional sums. Generally speaking, work which is not included in the original tender and done after the award is definitely going to cost more than the same was included in the original tender. Some or most of his work shall be done by others, and main contractor will get his markup with little or no input. Where it is inside dealing and front of company are possible if the subcontractors who do this work were not decided at the time of tender. I can still remember when I interviewed a quantity surveyor and asked him, but do you see any abnormality in the tender price when the provisional sums where the provisional sum were around 30% of the total? The previous replied, no. Again, when I mentioned 30% of the provisional sum, he said, I have seen 50%. So 30% is all right and there is nothing abnormal. High provisional sum is an irregularity bordering fraud, as it may lead to frauds. Hidden design correction lays on the part of the engineer. There is a tendency by the engineers to hide their faults, such as correction of design during construction, delay on the part of reviews approvals in a timely manner. In such instances, it would be advantageous for the engineer and the contractor to convince the client to grant extension of time without cost. Some requests are generally accepted by the client. The end result is the client gets the project late and loses the anticipated return on his investment. The provision of liquidated damages allowed in the condition of contract for such an eventuality is not enforced as an extension already granted. This is an avoidable loss to client. Change order manipulation. This is a very big fraud. Omissions are priced low while the additions are priced high. Work items are shifted on day work phase. There are possibilities to remove from it the original contract and the quoted items or items where there is a sudden increase in prices after the award and treat the same as varied work for the benefit of the contractor. Errors in measurement in a remeasure contracts. Over-measurement of completed work is lost to the client. It is often difficult, if not impossible, to find the technical frauds for financial auditing. It is rather unfortunate that government-funded projects are still continuing to undergo financial auditing only in many countries, particularly in developing countries. It is a fundamental requirement to have technical auditing in construction to elevate the construction to level of the industry. Non-technical frauds. removing of materials either from site or divert the material belonging to one project to another, removal of equipment, manipulation of labor, increase the number of employed hours worked in the time sheets, manipulation of plant, increase the number or the hours of equipment in time sheets, manipulation of prices escalation, invoices from phantom companies, manipulation of quantities, invoices more than what is supplied, underproduction or idle labor and plant, overpayment to contractor, work measured more than what is done. It is difficult to check this kind of fraud, and the employer cannot employ people to check these kind of activities at the construction site. These kind of activities are mostly in cost plus contracts, and cost plus contracts with an open book. The easiest way to stop this contract, this kind of cost plus contract is there is no incentive for the contractor. On the contrary, the contractor gets paid for everything. More spent, it is good for the contractor. As the contracts to have some form of competitiveness, to arrive at the contract price along with a clear scope and clear tender and contract documentation. Factors facilitating corruption in the construction industry after project level. Contractual structure. Infrastructure projects normally have many participants linked together in a complex contractual structure. Each link has its own contractual documentation and risks and difficulties. The project owner may contract with funders and consultants with the main contractor or the contract to construct the project. The main contractor may then subcontract key parts of the project to major subcontractors. Those subcontractors may in turn subcontract parts of their work to other subcontractors. These subcontractors will purchase equipment and material from suppliers and may further subcontract parts of their work. In a main project, the resultant contractual arrangement could be easily have more than 100 contractual links. Every contractual link provides the opportunity for someone to pay bribe in return for an award of the relevant contract. It is in relation to every contractual link, work and services are provided in exchange for payment. Each exchange provides an opportunity for bribery and fraud. For example, in obtaining certification of work or extension of time, obtaining payment, collusion, price fixing, or inflated claims. In the operation phase, there is an opportunity for corruption in relation to the maintenance and public use of the project. Diversity of skills and integrity levels. The infrastructure industry is a diverse industry in terms of the number of different profession, trade, specialist contracts. For example, a typical power station project may involve the following professionals, such as architect, structural engineer, civil engineer, mechanical engineer, electrical engineer, electronic engineer, quantity survey, land survey, an accountant, lawyer. Each of these professions have different national professional associations with different codes of conduct and different levels of enforcing of these codes. Trades such as machine operator, concrete operator, steel fixer, home worker, pipe fitter, bricklayer, plasterer, carpenter, driver, have different trade union associations. Specially contractors such as excavation, foundation, civil building, correction, erection, insulation, roofing, pipe, pumps, and instrumentation. Uniqueness of the project. Projects vary in content and uniqueness and sizes. Rates for labor and equipment for material vary as per market demand. Many projects are unique. As a result, costs are often difficult to compare. This makes it easier to inflate costs and hide price. Size of project. Size of the project can be very large and cost very big amount. Major dams, power plants, industrial plants, and motorways cost significant amount of money. It is easier to hide large price and inflated claims in large projects than in small projects. Then project phases. Projects normally have different phases, such as involving different management teams and each requiring handover of completed phases to the contractor undertaking the next phase. For example, a power station project may have the following phases: financing, design, excavation, foundation, civil works, building works, equipment manufacture, equipment erection, power station, commissioning and operation. Even if one main contractor undertakes all the phases, he will normally subcontract the different phases to different subcontractors. This leads to difficulties in overall control and oversight. Complexity of the project. Project can be complex. The interrelationship between events is often uncertain. Many people working on a project appear to know or disagree on the reason why something has gone wrong or why costs have overrun. This makes it easier to blame the other participants for problems and claim the payment for this. Pay a bribe as a decision or cost can affect these, their cost consequences can easily be hidden. And the blame to others, such as poor design or mismanagement. Concealed work. Most components in an infrastructure project will be concealed by other components. For example, structural steel may be concealed by concrete. Brickwork may be concealed by plaster. Engineering components may be concealed in casting. And roof structure may be concealed by cladding. Thus, an enormous dependence is placed by the industry on individuals certifying the correctness of the works before it is conceived. This provides opportunities to pay bribes to these individuals to certify too much work or approve defective or non-existent works. Lack of transparency. There is no culture of transparency in infrastructure sector. There is little or no requirement for funders, project owners or project participants to make public details of the funding. The underlying project and the identity of the project participants, including the identity of the contractor, joint venture partner, subcontractor, consultant and agents. Costs are, as far as possible, not to disclose. Even the public money is spent. Commercial confidentiality has historically taken precedence over the public interest. There may therefore be inadequate inspection books and records which could be uncover malpractices. Without such transparency, it is more difficult to detect. For example, in a subsidy funding arrangement, suspicious relationship between participants, which may facilitate corruption, projects which may have corrupt purposes, projects which have been granted planning permission corruptly, or prudent contract pricing. The extent of government involvement. The extent of government involvement in infrastructure is significant. Most major international infrastructure projects are government owned. Even private projects normally require government approval, such as planning permission or agreeing with government as to the terms to which the public may use the product. The power wielded by the government official in this regard, when combined with structural and financial complexity of the industry referred above, makes it relatively easy for government officials, for example, to commission projects for their own purpose or extract large bribes in exchange for the award of the contracts or approving inflated contract prices or prudent claims. Acceptance of the status quo. While there have been significant change in the attitude over the last few years, many people working in the infrastructure still accept the status quo and they make very little attempt to change it. Bribery, deceptive practice seem to have become so ingrained in some of the sectors and in some territories that in many cases they have become accepted as norm. The following are some attempted justification, sometimes given by some participant in the sector. Corruption is an acceptable part of life in the relevant industry. Some people in the country see nothing wrong in it. Bribery and deceptive conduct are not really crimes. They are just age-old business practices. They are part of the game. Everybody does it. The cost in bribes is merely an essential business cost. It forms part of the contract. If we stop bribing, our competitors will not stop. Therefore, we have to bribe to remain competitive. So much so that corruption has a different meaning in construction. What is corrupt to others is not necessarily corruption in the construction industry. A recent survey of the Chartered Institute of Building CIOB study in UK found that 40% of the respondents believe that corruption is common in construction and that 50% believe companies are not doing enough to prevent corruption. The Office of Fair Trading Office of the National Statistics is one of its largest ever Competition Act investigation found widespread evidence of bid rigging on procurement projects in the UK. The investigation uncovered the so-called breakfast clubs in the form of the illegal cartel where contractors meet up and decide who win the latest contract. Then lastly, there is no standard for awarding major government contracts. There is no international standard as to how a government-funded project should be awarded. China investigated more than 21,000 cases of construction frauds in 2009. Out of that, 15% of the frauds are occurring at bidding process, involving corruption, interfering with bidding process, inside trading, and cheating. Absence of technical auditing mechanism. We have failed to create a proper system of technical auditing for the last 100 years. There is no international auditing standards that the facilities for corruption at all the stages. Thank you.